NVIDIA's first chip nearly killed the company. A collapsed deal, weeks of cash left, a handful of engineers with no clear path forward. One survival bet kept them alive. A chip for PC gaming. Nothing more. Wall Street saw a gaming company for the next decade. They had no idea what was sitting inside those racks. This chip, the latest descendant of that survival bet, is now the cornerstone of every major AI model ever built. And all of it traces back to the near-death moment nobody remembers. And that's what this video is about. Your CPU is built for sequential work. One instruction, then the next, fast, precise, flexible. An H100 has 16,896 processing cores. Not 16,896. And each one is simpler and slower than a CPU core. They can't make any decisions. All they do is just multiply numbers, that's it. But they do it all at the same time, not sequential like CPU. Neural networks are just matrix multiplication. Grids of numbers multiplied together and repeated across hundreds of layers. Every operation is independent. No branching at all. Just multiply this, multiply that, all at once. A CPU does this sequentially. A GPU does this simultaneously. And nobody designed the GPU for this. Nobody. AI researchers in the early 2010s looked at the GPU and realized the geometry matches their problems exactly. That wasn't a strategy. That was an accident. And that accident is now worth $3 trillion. Training GPT-4 required roughly 10 to the power of 23 floating point operators. On a modern CPU, and I'm talking latest CPU, one at a time, how the CPUs work, that would take approximately 25,000 years. That's not slower. That's not the same category of machine. AI as a technology cannot exist without parallel computation. And it's not preference or anything, it's just physics. And same thing on a cluster of H100s, weeks. And this is exactly the reason why AI labs paid 40,000 grand per chip and waited 12 months in the queue. And not because NVIDIA marketed like crazy, like they spent like millions of money on marketing, because there is no other path. Nothing. This hardware is the prerequisite. The H100 can execute calculation faster than almost any device ever built. But those calculations need to be fed data continuously. And getting data to those 16,000 cores fast enough to keep them busy, that is the main problem. High bandwidth memory, HBM3, sits physically on top of the chip. 80 gigabytes, 3.3 terabytes per second. And even that is a binding constant on most of the AI workloads. Even the world's fastest chip spends measurable time just waiting to be fed. And this is exactly why the next generation isn't about having the fastest cores. It's about feeding the existing ones without wasting what's already there. Then you might ask, if the GPU is this critical, why can't the competitors just build the same thing? Obvious question, right? Valid question. Because NVIDIA's Moat isn't in the hardware. It's a software layer called CUDA. Built since 2006. 18 years of developers writing codes specifically for NVIDIA's GPU. And every AI framework runs on CUDA. Every researcher learned on CUDA. And every optimization is written for CUDA. You can build a chip that beats H100 on paper. AMD arguably has. But if it doesn't run on CUDA, AI labs are not gonna switch. Right? The tooling is locked. The chip is a product, CUDA is a fortress. And you can't build 18 years of ecosystem in a product cycle. Blackwell delivers 25 times better AI performance per watt compared to 2017. So, global AI power consumption should be going down. It's rising. It's rising steeply. Economists call this Jevons Paradox. When efficiency drops the cost per unit, demand rises to swallow the savings and then exceed them. The chip got 25 times more efficient. Then the industry built 100 times more chips. Efficiency didn't solve the power problem. It made more people believe the problem was solvable. So they built more. One H100 draws 700 watts, a microwave running continuously per chip. NVIDIA's current flagship rack hits 120 kilowatts, 1200 hair dryers in a metal box. Air cooling can't physically remove that heat at that density. So the industry is submerging the hardware. Servers in non-conductive liquid, direct heat transfer. A chip got so hot that the whole building had to be restructured around it. The GPU isn't shaping AI, it's shaping construction, power infrastructure, urban planning. The hardware constraint became a civil engineering problem. AI data centers currently sit at 1 to 2% of global electricity consumption. The trajectory by 2027, gigawatt-scale factories. One facility, 1 gigawatt. That is the output of a one nuclear power plant dedicated to one building for one data center, which is exactly why Microsoft restarted the 3 Mile Island, why Google is contracting with modular reactor developers. One chip designed for video games and nearly cancelled in 2008. And now the reason? Nuclear plants are getting restarted. The reason one company controls a choke point, every government is scrambling to regulate or replicate. And that's not a tech story. That's a civilization infrastructure decision being made faster than the public conversation about it. Every chip we talked about today, the H100, the GB200, everything NVIDIA makes comes from one place. One island, one factory that no other company on earth can replicate. And right now, the US, China, and Taiwan are locked in a quiet war about who controls it. And that's the next video. And it's the part of this story that should genuinely concern you. Data center video right here if you're just joining in the series. See you in the next one. Bye.